This gritty non-linear British thriller explores the cyclical nature of violence, grief, and the heavy burden of a military past. The story follows Andy, a retired SAS veteran struggling with the psychological scars of combat and the deep isolation of civilian life. His world is shattered by the death of his teenage daughter Rachel, who reportedly died from a heroin overdose at a house party while her boyfriend Cash was away working for a local crime syndicate. The story structure weaves between three distinct timelines: Andy's past military operations in Afghanistan, the events leading up to Rachel's death, and Andy's present-day descent into a cold, calculated revenge mission. In the military timeline, we see Andy as Echo 1, a disciplined leader operating in high-stress environments. These sequences highlight the camaraderie and dark humor shared with his teammates Smudge and Harper, but they also plant the seeds of his trauma. A pivotal moment involves a mission where his unit is overwatched by a young Dicker, scout, in the rocks. Despite the protocol and the presence of air support, the situation explodes into a chaotic ambush. These memories haunt Andy, manifesting as blackouts and a deep-seated belief that nothingness is all that remains after death, a philosophy that puts him at odds with his therapist, who tries to get him to open up about his pain. In the present timeline, Andy is a shell of a man. He works a mundane job as a warehouse manager where his hair-trigger temper and unprofessional language stemming from his military background get him into trouble with corporate management. Following Rachel's funeral, Andy's grief turns into a singular focus: investigation. He doesn't believe Rachel was a junkie. By accessing her phone using a password inspired by his military history, he begins to piece together the truth. Parallel to this, we follow Cash, a young man working as a mule for a drug runner named Tyler. Cash is not a hardened criminal. He is doing one last job to save enough money to take Rachel away from their bleak environment. While Cash is away on a delivery transporting drugs hidden inside watermelons, he leaves Rachel in the care of his friends at a party. It is here that Rachel is pressured into trying the finest product by Tyler and a girl named Ava. The scene is harrowing, depicting the casual cruelty of the drug trade. When Rachel reacts violently to the substance and dies, the group's first instinct is self-preservation, refusing to call an ambulance to avoid arrest. When Cash returns and learns of Rachel's death, he is devastated. He is confronted by Andy, who has tracked him down. Instead of a simple act of revenge, Andy's interrogation reveals a larger conspiracy. He realizes that Rachel didn't just overdose, she was a victim of a bad batch or a deliberate move by a rival faction to sabotage the local supply. Cash, realizing his own culpability in bringing the drugs into her life, is forced to face the man he feared most. The film's climax is a grim intersection of these paths. Andy utilizes his specialized skill set to dismantle the local drug ring, moving through the criminal underworld with the same tactical precision he used in the Middle East. However, the film avoids glorifying his actions. His conversations with a vision of his old friend Smudge serve as a psychological mirror. Smudge challenges Andy's motives, questioning if this is a genuine quest for justice or merely a thrill ride with an expiry date, a form of suicide by proxy for a man who doesn't know how to live in a world without a war to fight. Andy eventually tracks down the source of the lethal drugs. The violence is swift and unsentimental. Throughout his rampage, the film cuts back to the Afghanistan ambush, drawing a direct parallel between the enemies abroad and the vultures at home. He sees the drug dealers not just as criminals but as the same kind of existential threat he faced in the desert, entities that destroy families and futures. Back to Afghanistan to provide context for Chris Davis, a character mentioned during Rachel's funeral. Smudge recounts a harrowing mission where Chris attempted to save a comrade, Charlie Dixon, who had stepped on an IED. In the ensuing chaos and ambush, Chris threw a grenade to suppress the enemy, but the fog of war led to a horrific mistake. The grenade landed in a compound occupied by a local family. The revelation that the patrol was a trap and that the military's response caused civilian casualties underscores the film's moral ambiguity. Chris's subsequent transformation into a serious broken man parallels Andy's own descent. In the present, Andy's mission for vengeance intensifies. Encouraged by the visions of his dead comrades Smudge and Harper, who act as a psychological projection of his tactical instincts, Andy moves toward the top of the criminal food chain. He tracks down Leon, an illegal arms dealer, using brutal interrogation methods involving a nail gun. Through Leon, Andy learns about Callan, a rival who is attempting to usurp the empire of Cassius's father. Andy discovers that the drug world is as treacherous as any war zone. It is revealed that Cassius's father, a cold-hearted kingpin, actually laced his own product. His motive was to create activity that would allow him to clean house, eliminating disloyal subordinates like Callan, even if it meant collateral damage like Rachel. The subplot involving Ava and Cassius reaches a bloody conclusion. While they attempt to flee the fallout, they are intercepted. It is revealed that Ava was a spy for Cassius's father, spreading rumors to destabilize Callan's operations. However, her plan backfired when she realized she couldn't protect the people she actually cared about. In a moment of tragic irony, she dies in the same cycle of violence she helped facilitate. Before her death, she gives Andy the location of the warehouse where Cassius's father, the ultimate architect of the tragedy, is hiding. The film's climax takes place at a desolate warehouse. Andy, guided by the tactical advice of his ghost squad, eliminates the remaining enforcers. He finally confronts the Kingpin, who is holding Andy's estranged wife Elaine hostage. The Kingpin attempts to break Andy, psychologically detailing how he killed his own wife, Cassius's mother, when she tried to protect their son from his influence. He mocks Andy's military service, suggesting that years of fighting in Ireland, Iraq, and Afghanistan made him a man that even his own wife didn't recognize. The villain's chilling admission that Elaine is no longer with us serves as the final catalyst. Andy executes the Kingpin, but the victory is hollow. In the aftermath, Andy sits with the visions of Smudge and Harper. They discuss the ethics of their actions, whether killing rotten souls makes the world better for other Rachels out there. Andy expresses the profound isolation he felt after Elaine left, describing his grief as screaming into a black hole. The film concludes with a devastating psychological twist. Andy thanks Smudge and Harper for showing up after all these years when he needed them most. Smudge asks, "Haven't you figured it out yet?" The reality hits: Smudge and Harper did not survive the war. They are absent friends, ghosts of Andy's trauma, who have been guiding him through this revenge mission as a way for him to process his grief and combat training. The team was never there. Andy has been operating alone the entire time, lost in a dissociative state. The final scene shows Cassius, the son of a crumbling empire, confronting Andy. Cassius is terrified, weeping and holding a gun. Andy, now fully aware of his own brokenness and the fact that he has lost everyone he loved, looks at the boy. The cycle of violence ends not with a final bang, but with a profound, quiet apology as the credits roll. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.